Hey folks, good morning. Welcome to the PT Daily Show. Happy Thursday morning. I hope your morning is off to a great start. My name is Alan. I'm happy to be your host today. Currently serving as a faculty member in our fitness athlete division and the chief operating officer here at ICE. Today is Leadership Thursday, which means it is also Gut Check Thursday. So this week's Gut Check, complete body weight workout. We have a hero workout named Cooper. It is 10 rounds for time, 10 burpees, 10 air squats, 10 push-ups, and then 10 sit-ups. So nothing fancy, just some grunt work. Great workout to get done in the basement or the garage, at home this weekend. Scale in the clinic for a patient or a client. Just a great, easy workout to get done this weekend. On the longer side, I saw some folks already hit it. Times around 20 to 30 minutes. So budget your time accordingly. Going to be a little bit longer than we normally run. We try to keep them around 10 to 15 minutes. So that's going to run a little bit longer. Obviously, the better you are at those burpees and push-ups, the less breaks you'll have to take and the faster you'll motor through that. So hit Gut Check, post your time lapse, tag us in, and be happy to share that for you. Course is coming your way. We have Fitness Athlete Live this weekend in Las Vegas with Zach and Kelly, but that course is full. So your next chance to catch Fitness Athlete Live, we have two chances the same weekend, the weekend of February 19th and 20th. You can catch Mitch out in Scottsdale, Arizona, out west, or you can catch Zach down in Memphis, Tennessee. And then we have Modern Manage the Older Adult Live coming February 12th and 13th. That'll be out in Des Moines, Iowa. Lumbar Spine Management, February 19th and 20th, will be out on the West Coast in San Diego with Zach Morgan. Fitness Athlete Pregnancy and Postpartum Live, the first inaugural course for Alexis and Christina, is in Nashville, also the weekend of February 19th and 20th, but that is sold out. We're probably going to come back to Nashville in the fall. So we have some other courses around the country between now and then, but a lot of you have been trying to get into the Nashville course, which has been full for quite some time. So we're looking at bringing that course back to Nashville later this year. So if you're in the Nashville, kind of the greater Tennessee, Kentucky area, don't worry, we're looking at bringing that course back. And then Fitness Athlete Advanced Concepts with Zach, Mitch, and Joe just sold out last night. So your next chance to get all the way through the Fitness Athlete certification with Fitness Athlete Advanced Concepts will be August 15th. So that's available for registration now. So make sure you jump on that. If you've already taken the live course in Essential Foundations and you're looking to finish that course for your cert, or if you've at least already taken Essential Foundations, you can jump into Advanced Concepts online. Fantastic course. Lots of great work on programming, advanced gymnastics, advanced Olympic weightlifting. A fantastic course if you're working with CrossFitters and Olympic weightlifters, or if you really just want to get better at programming in general, that is the course for you. So that's what's coming your way course-wise. Let's get into today's topic. It's the beginning of the year. We've already started to get those emails. Folks have returned from holiday break. They are frustrated with their job. They're thinking about opening their own clinic, and they start to pitch a lot of ideas. I want to open my own shop. What do I do to make my clinic the most efficient clinic ever? I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own money. I want to work my own hours. Whatever your goal is, I want to treat one-on-one. I want to be fitness forward. Whatever your reason for opening your clinic, let's talk about doing that in a really smart manner, because what we see often is folks have an idea to open their clinic. They are a great clinician, but they have no idea how business works. They don't know how accounting works. They don't know how finances work. And they get caught very quickly in accumulating a lot of fixed expenses, which reduces the profit of the clinic and just turns their clinic into every other clinic that's already out there. High volume, really low amount of time spent with patients, a lot of costs, a lot of administrative burden, a lot of bureaucracy and expense that translates into less pay for their therapists who have to see more patients, less pay for the clinic managers, directors, owners, and overall just a loss for everybody. So how do we get to that point? Because we know people don't start there. Nobody says, I'm going to open my own clinic and see patients every 15 minutes because I think that's the best way to give physical therapy care. Nobody starts that way. We just somehow find ourselves there. So how do we get to that point, and how can we avoid getting to that point by kind of working in reverse and looking at what we need to own a clinic and open up a clinic and what we don't, and how we can avoid stepping into those pitfalls along the way. And so it's my firm belief that the number one way that you avoid becoming like every other clinic is you really fight hard to avoid accumulating fixed costs. That as you grow, yes, some fixed costs are necessary, they're unavoidable, but a lot of them are avoidable, or at least we can mitigate a lot of the costs from an unavoidable fixed cost that results in more money in the clinic bank account, which means we can pay therapists more who don't have to see as many patients, which is a win for everybody. It's a win for the clinic and the ownership. It's a win for the therapists. They don't feel burned out. They like coming to work. That results in better patient care. So the patient wins. Happy patients come back for therapy. Happy patients tell their friends and family about therapy, and that helps your clinic grow in the long term. So let's talk about that. The first thing is we need to understand what are unavoidable and what are avoidable fixed costs. A good example of an unavoidable fixed cost in 2022 is internet connection. Your clinic needs internet. You have to do documentation. Pretty much every EMR that I know of is web-based now, cloud-based, so you need some sort of internet connection. That's unavoidable. Whether you have one patient a day or 100 patients a day, you need internet connectivity in your clinic, and you pay a flat fixed cost for that internet. You pay, $100 for internet. So that is an unavoidable fixed cost. There's really nothing we can do around that. Yes, you can spend 4 hours on the phone arguing with the Comcast person for a deal to maybe save yourself $10 a month, but in the end, it's a pretty flat fixed cost that is unavoidable. Now, what is a good example of an avoidable or at least mitigated fixed cost? A good example of that, and this might be foreign to you, some of you in the South, but heat. Like we need, especially here in the North, we need to heat our buildings in the winter, if only to keep the pipes from freezing. Now, heat is indeed in the winter unavoidable cost, but we can mitigate a lot of that cost, right? The clinic doesn't have to be at 70 degrees if nobody is here. We can buy a device like a Nest to cool the clinic down to 50 degrees between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. when nobody is here, right? Nobody's here. We just need to keep the heat just warm enough so the pipes don't freeze. We don't have to keep it any warmer. And then around 6 or 7 a.m. or an hour or so before the first patient's going to walk in the door, you can have that Nest set up to turn the heat on and heat the building up. So we can significantly mitigate that fixed cost, although it is an unavoidable cost in the end, by just being a little bit smarter, leveraging technology. And there's 1,000 examples of how we can mitigate some of those unavoidable costs to overall reduce how much money our clinic is spending every month. Now, when we talk about avoidable fixed costs, there are a lot in clinic ownership. So a lot of it comes from not understanding systems, from not understanding how to own and operate a business. The less you know as a business owner, the more you're going to have to pay other people to fill in the gaps for the stuff that you don't know. If you don't understand how to do payroll, you're going to have to pay somebody to do your payroll, whether that's a person that physically works in your clinic or some third-party remote organization. If you don't understand how taxes work, you're going to have to pay somebody to prepare your taxes. If you don't understand how to keep your books, you're going to have to pay somebody to do your accounting. If you understand those things, or at least are willing to learn those things, you can save yourself a whole bunch of money. So a really good example here is a biller. Traveling around the country, teaching, being inside of a lot of clinics, I'm amazed at how much billing support a lot of clinics have, considering in this day and age, it is almost entirely point and click electronic. We have a part-time biller. She works a couple hours a week. Her main administrative burden is at the end of the month when she prepares patient statements for whatever money they might owe after their insurance has paid or not paid part of their bill. But outside of that, for the most part, 99% of our patients, their insurance is point and click. The therapist does the note. It shows up in the billing software. You push a button. It goes to the insurance company. It's electronic. It comes back electronically. We understand how much the insurance paid or did not paid, and we get all automated reconciliation of what that patient owes or does not owe after their insurance has or has not paid part of their bill. And it happens instantly and automatically. So leveraging technology goes a long way to really reducing the need to have all these people working in our clinic who are collecting salaries to not generate revenue, which is not to say they don't deserve the money that they get paid. They are doing a job, but the job they're doing is just administrative, back end, bureaucratic kind of stuff. They're not actually increasing the revenue of the clinic like hiring another physical therapist would. And so that is a fixed cost that we need to avoid as much as we can. So you can either pay somebody $70,000 a year to do your billing, or you can pay a few $1,000s a year to get better technology so that you can automate a lot of your billing processes. In the Army, we had a saying, you can be a strong soldier or you can be a smart soldier, right? Strong soldiers do stuff the hard way and they kind of grind through it and they get it done, but they do a lot of work to get it done. Smart soldiers don't have to do as much work, right? They find ways, they create systems, they leverage technology to get the same job tasks done with a lot less effort. So kind of ask yourself, do I want to be a strong soldier or do I want to be a smart soldier? Another good example is somebody doing your scheduling and your front desk work. Again, this can be automated. It's 2022. Get Jane, right? Jane is like $100 a month. You have online booking. Somebody clicks a button, they book an appointment. It shows up on your calendar. It syncs with whatever calendar you use, Google Calendar, Apple Calendar. You know you have a patient coming in. You can say, I don't want any patients without a 4-hour notice because you might not actually be at your clinic, especially if you're a solo operator, you have a side hustle. Leverage that technology so that you don't have to pay that person to sit there and do your scheduling. There's a lot of money, again, being spent on somebody who, again, is doing work and deserves the money they get paid, but that job can be almost entirely or fully automated, right? We do not have a front desk person or scheduler here. We have online billing. We have a Google Voice number for folks who maybe aren't so computer savvy that they can still call or text so that we can get those handful of people scheduled who aren't able to leverage technology. But again, it's 2022. The more you leverage technology, the more you create systems, the less money you have to pay for all these back-end administrative folks. EMR-wise, speaking of Jane, you can lose a lot of money if you just go with an EMR without doing your research. We're really happy to be switching here. We're going to save about $10,000 a year making the switch from our current EMR to Jane. And we're getting more features for less money. So you can really get bogged down with EMR back-end stuff. We all need an EMR, but you need it for notes and scheduling and nothing else, right? A lot of EMRs sync to your primary care's office or the hospital or something. We don't really need that technology. We need to be able to do the patient note. If we're cash-based, we're done at that point, right? Boom, we're done. You did the note, you're done for the day. If we're insurance-based, we need to be able to push a button that finishes the note so that the billing person can push a button on their end and send it to the insurance company. And maybe we need a button to push to fax it to a doc every once in a while. We do not need all this fancy back-end stuff that cross-communicates with the hospital back-end, especially if you're not affiliated with that hospital at all. So we need to make sure we're not paying extra money for features that we don't really plan to use. We need a basic EMR for most of us that's free form. We just type in our asterisk signs. We type in whatever manual therapy dosage we did. We type in whatever exercise dosage we did, and we're done, right? A note should take you 2 to 5 minutes. Software like Jane, obviously we're going to keep plugging Jane here. You can snap a picture of your whiteboard for Therax and upload it right into the objective section. You don't even have to type. You can use voice to text for your asterisk signs and your subjective, right? Leverage technology. Get a really solid EMR that's cheap and save yourself 10 grand a year, right? That's 10 more grand that you can put into your pocket that you're not spending unnecessarily. So do your research on your EMR. Getting into a really, probably arguably the most important fixed cost here is what are you paying every month in your overhead for your rent or your mortgage? We see a lot of clinics go wrong here. Once you're locked into that lease, you're in trouble if you are overpaying. Really understanding how real estate works is super important, especially when you're first opening your clinic. Understanding the differences between different types of real estate is crucial. What is Class A? What is Class B? What is Class C real estate? Class A real estate is the newest. It's the high quality. It's the downtown. It's right in the middle of downtown next to the cool sushi bar. It is the newest, fanciest storefront. It's by the yoga studio and the juice bar, and it's the most expensive, right? So speaking for Michigan, where we're at here, real estate, that's going to run you about $23 a square foot. That's a lot of money, right? That's about 12 grand a month if you're paying per month. That's a ton of money. when you start to think about that, you start to think, how many patients do I have to see a month to cover that? And all of a sudden you realize, okay, I can see why some clinics make their therapists see a patient every 15 minutes, right? When your overhead is so high and you're locked into that lease, your break-even point, it becomes astronomical, and you have no other choice but to see more people per hour so that you can pay that note at the end of every month. Below Class A is Class B. Class B real estate is a little older, but it's still in a nice area, right? It's not between the gun store and the liquor store. It's a nice area. Could it look better? Yeah, but it gets the job done. I would call us here at Health HQ Class B. It's kind of in an industrial strip, but it looks nice. It's safe. That's going to be almost half as cheap, right? About $13 per square foot here in Michigan. And now all of a sudden we come down looking at like $6,000 a month or so if we're paying by month. Now all of a sudden our break-even point is much lower. Now we can relax a little bit with how many patients we need to see to hit that break-even point. And then I don't recommend this, but below Class B is Class C. Class C are the oldest buildings in the least desirable areas in your town. That becomes half as cheap as Class B. In Michigan, that's about $8 a square foot. So about $3,000 or so if you're paying on a monthly note there. So that is going to significantly reduce your break-even point. So maybe Class C isn't the spot to start, but what we see very often is folks jump right to Class A, the nicest all-glass storefront, the newest bamboo wood from Asia, and they have a $5,000 a month rent, and all of a sudden, I have to see 100 patients a month just to break even, not including any of my other expenses. And now you can imagine how very quickly clinics can get in trouble, how we can get underwater with our expenses. And we get into a point where to even break even, we have to see a ton of patients or ask our therapist to see a ton of patients. So maybe not Class C, but definitely not Class A, at least when you're first starting. So really getting a handle on how much you pay per month in rent is going to open up how much more money you have to pay your therapist, how much money you have for equipment and other things like that. For reference, we pay, I think, $1.3 per square foot here at Health HQ, and we have the added bonus that we're next to the gym, which is an awesome setup. So you can find it cheaper. You really got to spend your work. Don't get lured in by that fancy storefront downtown. You're gonna regret it. Start small. Start a little bit rougher, and then as you grow, move into a bigger, nicer building. That is always the way to go. Last thing here on fixed expenses is equipment. Please, please, please do not go and buy the fanciest new equipment from an equipment dealer and take out a giant loan. There are so many ways to get equipment. Even if you're buying new from Rogue or something like that, call Rogue, tell them what you want. They will do something called bottom lining you, and they will give you a really good deal if you are buying a pretty significant amount of equipment. That's going to be cheaper than if you just add it all to your cart on the website. So make sure you do research there. We can go even cheaper, right? We can go and buy it online. We can go to Facebook Marketplace and get some barbells and plates and dumbbells. Again, much like our real estate cost, is it the nicest? No, but it's going to get the job done, especially when you're first opening up shop. And then once you grow, once you start to have some money in the bank account, you can look at then maybe going to Rogue and getting that nice new brand new stuff. Another good resource is a website called Search Tempest. What Search Tempest will let you do is search all of the Craigslist in your area. So if you're not familiar with Craigslist, it's the old school Facebook Marketplace. People just posting their stuff for sale. The downside of the original Craigslist is it's only a city per search, right? So I could only search Fenton. I could only search Flint. Although there are 100 cities within drivable distance of me, I would have to search each one by one for what I'm looking for. What Search Tempest does is let you aggregate all that. I can say search all of the Craigslist cities within 100 miles. I'm willing to drive 100 miles. And then that way you can search a whole bunch of a region near you for stuff like barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, a rower, a squat rack, a bike, that sort of stuff that you want when you're first setting up shop. So leverage technology to save yourself money. You don't need that $80,000 body weight supported treadmill when you're first starting. it seems cool until you realize, oh, that's going to cost me $1,500 a month for the next 5 to 10 years to pay that thing off. So again, start small, get the essentials, get your name out there, start to grow, and then look at nicer equipment. Look at a nicer clinic itself. Don't get trapped with a huge amount of fixed expenses on the front end. That way you have money to pay your people so they don't have to see as many patients, and then you have the money for the nicer equipment and the nicer office on the back end, right? Kind of start with the end in mind, as we say. So I hope that helps. We get a lot of questions about this. How do you guys do it? How do you do it? I don't understand how you do it. I've talked to my boss. They've given me the numbers. They say it's not possible. And it usually comes down to a lot of folks working in the back end, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 back end, sometimes as many administrative people in the back end as therapists working at the clinic. It comes down to paying way too much for rent, having a super nice facility. Yeah, it looks great, but it doesn't matter if it costs $10,000 a month, right? That is a lot of money that we have to overcome, and that's probably more patients you're going to have to see in the clinic so that the owner can pay that note on the rent every month. And then be smart with the equipment. Get what you need, get the bare bones, get a run of dumbbells, kettlebells, get a rower, get a squat rack, a barbell, and some plates. You can get that super cheap, get it used, or call Rogue and have them bottom line you. And then just understand how to leverage technology so that we don't have as many folks in the back end, and that frees up more money for us to pay our therapists better and have money to upgrade later on. So happy to hear questions or discussion on this. Have fun with Gut Check. If you're going to be in Vegas this weekend with Zach and Kelly, have a fantastic time. What a place to do Fitness Athlete Live. Nice warm weather as it's, I think, 1 degree here in Michigan. Other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.